Yep. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for today's training. Today's training is a pre-recorded training, but you will have the opportunity to be provided information from our presenters so that you can contact them for any questions you have following the information provided. Today's training is on reporting to and interacting with first responders. My name is Tiffany Ziegler, and I'm the Training and Compliance Specialist here at the County Board. Today's presenters are Nick Pokoziwa, Investigative Agent, and Jerry Thomas, Program Coordinator. Jerry, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, or hello. It may not be afternoon when you're watching this, but what we do want to talk about is two tiers of how we would interact with first responders. And the first one would be information that we want to make sure that they have when we are the person that's contacting 911 or reacting to an emergency situation or being effective on the scene. How can we be effective on the scene? And then also, there are times that as a direct service provider, we may be in a position to assist an individual with reporting something that happened to them or about them to a law enforcement agency or a law enforcement officer. And how can we best assist them in doing that? And what is our role? What can we do to help them when they have something happen that needs to be reported to law enforcement? And this scenario would be especially critical if a major unusual incident happens that they need to file a police report about. And Nick is going to give us some of the direct information of what we would need to do in these cases. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Nick.
Hi, my name is Nick Pokoziwa, Investigative Agent with Medina County DD, and I'm going to go over the immediate actions for incidents. Assess and respond. We want to assess the individual to determine if first aid or CPR is necessary. If necessary, utilize training and initiate CPR first aid. This includes calling 911 when CPR first aid is required, and further evaluation is needed by emergency medical personnel. Calling 911 may also be necessary if the abuse of an individual is witnessed and law enforcement intervention is required. So when reporting to law enforcement, if the individual or a witness alleges abuse, misappropriation, exploitation, or neglect that results in injury, call law enforcement. Provide law enforcement with your name and title and the name of the individual that you're calling about. Advise law enforcement that you are an advocate for the individual and your role is to assist the individual in filing a report. And when making the call, be sure to notify law enforcement of the location that the alleged incident occurred at, if that's known. If it's not known, you would call the local law enforcement where the individual resides at. So if law enforcement is unable to respond or requests a report made in person, transport the individual to the local law enforcement agency after any wound or injury is assessed and treated. Again, provide law enforcement with your name and title and name of the individual. Advise law enforcement that you are an advocate for the individual and your role is to assist the individual in filing a report.
So it's Jerry again, and while we're working alongside the individual that we're supporting, we need to keep a couple things in mind. And one of the first and foremost is safety. And that's why we want to make sure that if any immediate concerns are taken care of, if the person is still in the vicinity of someone they're having a problem with, we need to make sure that they're not together at that time either. So we need to make sure that those kinds of things are taken care of. If we are asked to go to make a report with someone to the police station, or the police officer is going to be coming out to take a report from someone, we want to be able to, where we can, help our individual to prepare for that. Some of our individuals may have apprehension or be nervous about having an interaction with a law enforcement official. And we want to assure them that what they're doing is good for them, it's necessary, and you're just helping the officer do their job by providing the information. Maybe by asking some rehearsal questions or kind of anticipating the kind of questions that the person might get asked. You know, and it's going to be the W questions, the who, what, when, why, where, how. Those are really the questions that they're probably going to be asked by the person who's asking the question. So help prepare them where possible to answer those kinds of questions. When we're in that situation, we want to be able to act as neutral as possible while the person is providing the information, and really make it about them providing the information where it's possible or to whatever extent they can. Now, some of our individuals can be difficult to understand, and we have an understanding maybe that is better than the person that has never met them before. But we want to be careful that we're getting that individual's permission to share. Is this what you meant? Can I restate this or state it in a way so that the officer is really understanding what it is that you're meaning to say? We don't want to put words in the individual's mouth, but we want to be able to interpret as closely as we can in a way that's understandable what it is that they were trying to get across as they're reporting what happened to them. And if I do want to, if I know something about it or know something about what happened or what they told me about it, making sure that I check with them before I say what you told me was, and before we just go ahead and assume to do that. So really empowering the person and saying, giving them the sense of I'm here with you, I'm not here for you, and we can do this together. And then afterwards, being able to be appropriately grateful to the person for doing something that maybe took a little, that's not out of the ordinary. It's not something they would do every day. So being able to thank them for their courage and being able to go through with doing that next step and letting them know that they did a good job with that. It's just good support and helping to continue to make our folks feel safe before, during, and after anything that happens. It's kind of can be unusual or traumatic for them. So with that, I'm going to go back to Tiffany.
So being that today's presentation was a pre-recorded training, you still will have an opportunity to ask questions. Jerry and Nick's information are going to be on the next 2 slides. You can also access today's presentation in a PDF format on our website so that you have all of that information. You can print it off and have it in front of you, as well as view the recording. So feel free, if you have any questions, to reach out to Jerry or Nick here at the Medina County Board, as we are here to support always. Thank you for joining us today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, and good luck, and thank you for what you do.